Alright, to all you criminals out there, let's talk about One Piece, Chapter 921. This one is insanity, madness, and just fun altogether. We open up with a nice cover page for the Shonen Jump magazine, and it shows Luffy, Zoro, and Kaido in the background. And I feel like that image is one of the clearest images we've seen of Kaido's whole face. Not just his eye, not just his mouth when with his eyes in shadow, a clear picture of Kaido's face. And man, does this guy radiate intensity. Not only that, we have this nice cover page, color spread, I should say, of some of the most popular female characters in One Piece: Nami, Robin, Boa Hancock, Vivi, Perona, Tashigi, Big Mom for some reason, which, I mean, she's popular enough at this point, and very much off to the side is Shirahoshi. Now, despite the fact that this has no bearing on the plot, I have to talk about this because I call bullshit here. Because though they made Shirahoshi like massive in her sizing, Big Mom is far bigger than that, as well as Boa Hancock. To my knowledge, she's like 7 foot something, so she should not be that close in height to Nami. But regardless, I also love the shirt that Chopper's wearing. Support girls. Yes, please support women in all their pursuits. Unless it's murder, then don't do that. But getting back on track, we continue on with Kinemon's explanation to the Straw Hat Pirates, and the explanation that Onigishima, Demon Island, is the home base for Kaido and the 100 Beast Pirates. You know, they kind of talk about the fact that it's somewhere you can get to from the mainland very easily with a small sailboat. They will be attacking on the day of the Fire Festival, a once a year festival in the capital city, where Kaido is believed to be a radiant being, like a god or a Buddha, a protector of the land, a deity more or less, and that Orochi will be going to Onigishima in order to pray to Kaido, basically, where in reality they're just gonna go there and have a big old feast. You know, and with that, the explanation is that with them partying and having a big celebration, this joyous jamboree, if you were, that'll be the perfect opportunity to go in and go on the attack. We also get some clarification in the fact that, despite how sweet on Kinemon Kiku seems to be, is simply that they're very close comrades. And in reality, we come to find out he is actually married to Otsuru. Suru, the, woman who looks like she's straight up out of a Japanese woodcutting. And so that's a little interesting bit of information. The fact that, despite his pervy nature, Kinemon is actually in a relationship with someone. And, knowing Otsuru's actual personality, where she can get pretty high strung at times, it's interesting to see that, there's actually a deeper connection going on there. And naturally, Sanji's completely jealous. Kinemon also shows off a, bit of a symbol, because in Japanese culture, symbols can have lots of meanings behind them. And theirs is two birds crossing their necks, a snake, and a crescent moon. And it basically rolls down to the fact that they will be attacking during a specific time at a specific place, between 5:30 and 6:30. It's a message to the people of the Kibi, who have the moon-shaped crescent on their tail, and it'll be an attack on, you know, blah blah, so on and so forth. Um, we also finally get Kinemon's explanation as to what exactly has been going on with the rest of the Straw Hats, with Frankie and Usopp joining up with a carpenter, as we had seen before, basically building a kind of sailboat in order to help them get all the way to Onigishima, and also try to get the blueprints for Kaido's mansion. Um, Robin has been in the capital dressed as a geisha, gaining as much information as she can as well, with Zoro just basically doing whatever the hell he damn well please. Um, Kinemon also goes forward and explains the roles that the other Straw Hats will be playing, which I think is pretty interesting. The fact that Kinemon is so deep in terms of their strategy. Brook's power will be used in order to gather food from the capital. They'll be dressing him up as a spirit just kind of wandering around. So a lot of people won't question too much his presence. Um, Nami will be dressed as a female ninja just because of the scope of her abilities and her more sneaky tactics. Sanji will be dressed as a cook, and he will be gathering as many people as he can find in order to, sway things to their cause. And Chopper and Carrot will be going with Kiku to meet up with Inuarashi. So they will kind of be dressed as ninjas too. Kind of made to look a little more undercover than before. This is a nice little segment because it actually shows, if anyone remembers, there was this set of OVAs, kind of episode specials, where it was Luffy as a detective in old feudal Japan, and you had all the various Straw Hats and their enemies and allies as various people within feudal Japan. So it very much harkens back to that. So I have to wonder if Oda had already had this idea set in motion until here, or if this actually was inspired by some of that. Although a lot of the characters act and dress a lot more differently than any of that. We also see that Kinemon made Nami particularly skimpy, and when she objects to her appearance, he says that that is the typical dress for a kunoichi, as he calls in a female ninja ally of his, Shinobu, who looks nothing like the way that Nami does, and he brushes it off, saying it was one of two options. We also get a proper introduction to Shinobu, with her stating that back in the day she was seen as Kinemon's little sister, but since 20 years have passed, she's a little bit on the older side, with Sanji having a bit of an adverse reaction to this, very similar to when he met up with Granny Kokoro, I think it was, from Water 7, who was a mermaid and kind of dashed his idea of what a mermaid was supposed to look like. So his idea of what a, female ninja Konoichi is supposed to look like, he's kind of just sobbing over that. Kinemon also says that they need to gather 3 other people and have them join their cause, namely Kwamatsu, Denjiro, and Boy Ashura, who as you will know, is someone who, what you call it, Lord Ogun, what's his face, of the Kazuki clan, previous head of the Kazuki clan, defeated in order to, kind of bring all the people of Wano together, Boy Ashura. Lord Odin, there we go. It's believed that they are worth 100 men, and they should have survived even in these times of, harsh climate and the rule of Orochi. Speaking of which, we see in Leftover Town, despite the fact that a lot of people believed that Jack the Drought would come to Leftover Town and wreak a terrible vengeance on the people there who got food from Luffy, we come to find out it is actually the bandits of Shutenmaru who are attacking the village and just raiding and ransacking everything that they hold dear. Even, with Shutenmaru even going getting ready to slay an older woman, just being like, you ain't got long to live, I might as well just put you out of your misery. So this guy is kind of an asshole. However, his reign of terror is interrupted by another reign of terror, namely that of Jack the Drought, who has come looking for Straw Hat Luffy. Um, he demands to have some kind of information brought to him by Shutenmaru. And he ultimately says that the only reason Shutenmaru is still alive is because Kaido feels that Shutenmaru will make a great ally. However, Shutenmaru's like, yeah, no, I'm not having any of this. And despite the fact that Shutenmaru is this, big, fat, beefy, you know, meatball of a man, he moves so quickly he manages to slice the chest of Jack the Drought, which, it kind of makes Jack start looking a bit like a scrub here and there when he constantly keeps getting his ass whooped by various things and people, because he wasn't able to get to Doflamingo, he wasn't able to, fully take down everyone on Zoe and being taken out by Zoe itself, and now he's got this dude just cutting him up like he ain't even shit. Although despite the fact that he got cut, he still is able to just go in and start clashing with Shutenmaru like they're on even playing ground. So at most, he might have just gotten kind of taken by surprise. Although, it makes you wonder if Jack the Drought is simply one of the weakest members of the three calamities of Kaido's forces. And as they proceed to clash and fight, Shutemaru's like, yo, I'm never going to be taken down by the likes of you, especially since you're an underling. I've outrun death plenty of times. I ain't going down like some scrub. However, suddenly the skies darken, a swirl of clouds form, and this is like widespread. Naturally, since, Law and the rest of his crew was able to tell what was happening in Leftover Town from where they were. They noticed all of this going down, and his men are like, "Is that rain or something?" And Law's just like, "No." He runs in. It's just like, "Yo, Straw Hat, come here. You gotta check this out." And out of the heavens, like the goddamn eternal dragon, Shenron himself, we have this massive, demonic-looking dragon just come floating down from the sky, demanding that Jack bring me, saying, "Jack, bring me those brats now," referring to Luffy. And as we come to find out, that is Kaido in and of himself. Which, things are escalating so quickly. Because Kaido showing up here and now, finding out what his actual transformation and devil fruit ability is. We even have this small panel of Momosuke looking kind of worried, showing that, he still has flashbacks to more than likely when Kaido came down and just razed Odin Castle to the ground. But this strikes down a lot of theories that Kaido was some kind of, Oni. He had the Oni Oni no Mi, and he was some kind of demon. Because, I think originally when we first started getting hints to Kaido himself, a lot of theories said that he was more than likely a dragon, especially when we found out that he was control of all the smile, which gave people the appearances of animals. 100 beast pirates, 100 beast-like humanoids, anyone who had was further up the food chain, had like mythical Zoans and stuff like that. Freaking Jack the Drought with the fact that he's a giant woolly mammoth. Like, dude. So it makes sense that the most legendary and powerful of any kind of beast would in fact be a massive dragon. It makes so much sense. And Kaido's visage placed upon a dragon, the intensity of his eyes, the way that his tattoos kind of fade into the look of his scales, and it's Jack because everything about him just, it's there in the form of that dragon. And, it makes you think because, the first time you ever saw Shenron in Dragon Ball, that was during the time that Oda was like a little kid, so that would have left a big impression of him. And leave it to Oda to just incorporate that into one of the most powerful characters in all of One Piece. Like, bringing that dragon respect back. You better respect that name, the Eternal Dragon. Because the fact that he's just floating up there and it just has this commanding presence, that the sky is darkened and his voice is even more gravelly because you can tell from the way the speech bubbles are formed. It's, you can just tell that he's just this wave of intimidation. It's just flowing across the people. I never would have guessed that we would see Kaido just see what he looks like when he's transformed, because we knew it had to be something. But this, so intense, so awesome, so amazing, so much fun. Oda, 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 God, Oda, Goda. Just beautiful. I can't get over it. It's fantastic. But hey, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. How far do you think Kaido's powers range in this form? He's already insanely strong in his normal human form. I can only imagine what he's like when he's transformed. So intense, so intense. And then, like, it makes you wonder, it's just like, how is Luffy even gonna deal with something like that? Just too much, too much, too much. But if you liked what I had to say in this review, leave me a like. If you didn't, leave me a dislike. Tell me what I've done wrong. And subscribe for more chapter reviews of One Piece. The insanity continues.